on that. Ernest Moye joins us now to take a look at this matter. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting how all shades of opinion. I mean, today we read that there's this court judgment. Tomorrow, another court judgment recognizing Anambra or Tony Moye. What's going on in Anambra?
Thank you for the question, Chamberlain. In Anambra State, it appears some people chose to merge two different distinct issues together. Okay. One, the issue of State Executive Committee of Anambra State, and the issue of nominated candidate of PDP for the November 16 elections. The two issues are quite distinct and different. But I will start with the issue of State Executive. Okay. Prior to today, this year, as of 2012, PDP purported to have conducted congresses, starting with the ward congresses. And under PDP constitution, it is the ward local government congresses that culminates into state congresses. Then, a party, after the election, had one of his own that went to court. He was a serving state executive chairman, Honorable Anambra. And he said, PDP is taking steps to exclude me. He was an aspirant as well as a chairman from this process. Please, court, stop this. And court restrained the conduct of PDP state congresses that produced Ogwebego. Despite that, they purported to have gone ahead. Right? And he took his case till the last minute. PDP was adequately represented. And court nullified both the ward congresses, local government congresses, and state congresses that produced Ejiko Ogwebego. I have the documents. Right? That's the judgment. Soon after that,
when was this judgment given?
This judgment was delivered by the FCT High Court before Honorable Justice U.P. Kekemeke on 5th of July 2012.
Last year?
Yes, last year. And if I may read the orders without wasting your time, it says, the court ordered it is hereby declared that the ward local government state congresses conducted in Anambra State by the defendant, that's PDP, on 10th day of March, 16th and 17th day of March 2012 are hereby nullified. That's a judgment of court. PDP was notified. They were represented by counsel. Anyway, Independent National Electoral Commission was notified. The Inspector General and all the security apparatus were all notified. Then Ejiko Ogwebego himself.
What about INEC? Was INEC
duly notified? In fact, prior to the holding of that Congress, that state Congress, the court, same court, had earlier granted an interim order restraining the holding of that Congress. And they still went ahead. As a matter of fact, one of the grounds was for court to say, oh no, how can you hold a Congress in contempt of my order? But besides, even PDP, on their own, admitted that that Congress is never held. That's the report of Chief Ojo Madekwe. Because after every convention and national congress, there will be a report. Post-convention and congress report. They reported that in Anambra, in their findings, which is one of the things court relied upon to nullify the Congress. They said, in their findings, that's page 12. It is not my report. It is an ad hoc committee report. I'll release copies to you. They said, if I may read, that in Anambra State, Congress did not hold because some persons went to court and no Congress is held. That's referring to the court of Anambra against PDP. Now, after that judgment was given, Ejiko Ogwebego applied as an interested party, which he has a right to under our constitution, to have that judgment set aside, claiming that he affects his interest. This is his application. As at 31st of July, he brought an application before the same court, Honorable Justice Kekemeke, and said, grant me leave to appeal against this judgment. He has affected my interest. And court, we said no, because I was a counsel to Honorable Anambra. And we opposed it, said no, he's a contemnor. He should be in jail. How dare him come to court and say, give me leave to appeal against judgment? I had a Congress. A Congress court restrained his holding. Well, court passionately granted him audience. We opposed it, and court, in his ruling, dismissed his application. This is what the court said. For avoidance of that, he said, in my view, Ejike Ogbuebego does not exist in law. It is an impunity for him to approach this court and say, grant me leave, and dismiss the application. He never appealed against that ruling. Subsequently, the same Ejike Ogbuebego went to Federal High Court in Abuja. The matter is still pending. Before Honorable Justice A.R. Mohammed, we were there and filed a suit. Suit number FHA/17, 2013. I came to be joined through my counsel, my client. Honorable Kedemaka came to be joined. They were all joined. He's asking the court to validate his election. The matter has been adjourned for adoption to September 19th or thereabout, a few days to come. He abandoned it and ran to Porakot.
How can he abandon it?
Thank you. How he abandoned it is that the very moment, unsolicited, we got a letter from INEC saying, oh, Ejike Ogbuebego is now the State Executive Committee in Anambra State. Who asked you to? On what basis? That letter was written by Kaugama, the former secretary. It was written on 26th, released on 29th. The very day he was resigning or retiring rather. Right? And when I said, who prompted you? What led about this? And they said, no, because they monitored Ejike Ogbuebego's Congress. I said, how can you be speaking with two sides of your mouth? I wrote a letter to Jega on that. This is a copy, challenging their decision. I said,
decision to recognize
Ejike Ogbuebego, that they don't have a right. These are my words. I said, INEC had earlier in his report, after the World Congresses that produced the local government that culminated into state congress, INEC wrote to PDP and said that congresses were mad in some states. Anambra was one of them. That's it.
So what did INEC respond? How did they respond?
They didn't. Of course, they wouldn't respond.
Yeah, but so far so good. Your own part seems to have the upper hand. Why are you fretting?
I am not fretting because I'm only concerned that Nigerians have been so long misinformed. Imagine what happened in Porakot. The order of court was clear. But surprisingly, just 10 minutes after the ruling was delivered, before the road order even came out, the news was everywhere. Oh, court orders that Anambra should be nominated a candidate of the party. And the law is clear and explicit on this. Only political party decides who their candidate is. Supreme Court has settled it in plethora of cases.
But you're also aware that
yes.
It was also reported widely that INEC monitored the Ejike Ogbuebego-led organized state congress.
That is a fallacy. That is false. It's mispresentation.
In fact, did they monitor? Sorry,
INEC did not. And besides,
INEC wrote a letter to that effect, saying that was the only faction of PDP that they recognized in Anambra State.
That's exactly where people get it wrong. Issue of having a state executive is a totally different thing. When it comes to conduct of party primary for nomination of candidates into public offices, it is within the exclusive preserve of the National Executive Committee. They may decide to go to Togo and bring people in to do that.
Are you saying when it comes to the Congress for a candidate to emerge as the party's flag bearer?
Yes.
What about, that's for the NEC, right?
Yes, exactly.
What about when it comes to the candidates to emerge? Is it the same thing?
Yes.
Is it not the function of the state Congress?
No, far from it.
What is the role of the states?
Thank you. You know, people tend to confuse State Executive Committee and the State Congress. A State Congress is much more wider than State Executive. A State Congress nominates, votes to elect a candidate for a gubernatorial election. That's a State Congress. It comprises even Mr. President. For instance, if Bayelsa is having their State Congress, Mr. President will be a delegate. It is not the function, the only duty of a state executive, if they are in place, is to vote at a state congress. PDP constitution is clear on that. Right? But when it comes to the actual conduct of the primary election, that exclusively is for NEC. Okay. The state executive, assuming, like I always say, assuming without conceding that it is Ejike Ogbuebego.
And you say you wrote to INEC on this?
Officially, I have a letter.
And they never got back to you?
They never responded. I know they wouldn't. I also told them that, how can you? I didn't stop at that. Subsequently, on a Sunday,
11th August. Hang on this, so that Nigerians will know the truth.
Okay, don't worry.
Imagine a situation where a statutory body is writing PDP on a Sunday. That's 11th.
Which body?
INEC. Telling PDP a day to the ad hoc election to elect delegates.
They wrote the PDP on
on a Sunday. I have a copy of the letter. Unfortunately, I didn't come with it. Telling PDP, after my letter and PDP's complaint, they say, oh no, we have reviewed all the cases, including this judgment.
Let's go to INEC and find out.